I'm not really for sure what time this video will come out tonight, but I'm definitely posting it tonight. I don't really care because it's important to get this message out. Candace Owens, extremely popular black conservative female who really gained her prominence in saying and coming out with a whole lot of controversial things about the black community and about black people. And regardless of how you feel about her, if you are somebody who feels like she just bashes black people, if you feel like she just caters to white people, or if you're somebody like myself who feels like she tells a whole lot of truth about the black community, regardless of where you fall, the truth of the matter is that's how she gained her prominence. And she was rewarded for it, right, throughout her career. Well, this same Candace Owens was also fired, I believe earlier this year, maybe late last year, as a lot of us should know, a lot of you should know, for saying some very controversial things about the Jewish community, about Jews, that many people consider anti-Semitic. And by many people, I mean not very many people. When you look at the masses, most people don't consider what she's saying as anti-Semitic, but it was deemed as anti-Semitic by the people that she worked for, by the company that she worked for, and they had every right. I don't really know contractually what the agreements were, but I'd imagine they had every right to fire her if she was saying things that they didn't like, which is very controversial in itself because they're conservatives and they're supposed to be about free speech and say what you want. And as long as she was saying all these things about black people, it wasn't a problem. Well, if you don't know, Candace Owens has now found herself suspended from YouTube. And not only did YouTube suspend her, but YouTube actually deleted at least one of her videos, but I believe they deleted a few of her videos.
Just to give a couple of thoughts, you used to be able to just do a video on YouTube, but now I kind of think that you have to host a space. Anyways, obviously, I'm doing this because my account just got suspended on YouTube, and I shared with you guys exactly how it happened, which was, prior to today, I had nothing on my account other than the day that account Awesome Jew began publishing a step-by-step guide for how people could mass report my Tristan Tate interview when my Tristan Tate interview aired. And YouTube actually responded on Twitter and said that these sort of targeted harassment campaigns wouldn't work. And then lo and behold, they quite literally took down that video, and we then filed an appeal, and we haven't actually heard back on that appeal. But I kind of put it in the back of my mind. And interestingly enough, it's kind of been a journey with this. And I did kind of expect this to happen, especially after the Rabbi Shmuley debate. I knew there would be some price that I had to pay for it, because you just can't have a video or a debate go that viral. And I could just see how angry the Zionist community was about it.
So if you go over to her Twitter, which is the only place that she can post now, she says, "There will be no show today or at all this week. That's because YouTube has issued me a strike and a 1-week suspension for my sit down with Kanye. They also removed the interview as quote unquote hate speech, as it was mass reported by Zionists. Their tactics never change. Thus far, I have had 0 strikes on my YouTube creators account. I have now been inundated with 3 back-to-back content hits within minutes, plus an email that I am now fully demonetized. We all know exactly who is behind this and why." For me, when I see something like this, there's a few questions that I have. Because again, regardless of how you feel about Candace Owens, this is much bigger than Candace Owens. Because if you follow her, if you don't follow her, Candace Owens has been posting maybe the last month or so, really more so maybe the last 3 weeks. She's always been about controversial topics, but I'd say like over the last 3 weeks, she's been ramping it up, man. Like, she's been talking about the war that's happening, between Palestine and Israel. She's been talking about 9/11. She's been talking about, all sorts of things, man, like child predators. She's been interviewing people and to talk about controversial things. And one of the biggest questions I have, man, is, so YouTube has their right, because I understand that YouTube isn't the general public, right? So one could say, oh, how can YouTube prevent you from saying what you want? Because it's their company, right? They're a media platform and they're allowed to do that. But it doesn't make sense to me, though, because one, it reminds me of the things that you can say on YouTube and the things you can't. Like, as a content creator, we know that there's certain words you can't put in your thumbnail certain words you can't put, and certain things you can't put on your thumbnail, certain words you can't mention in your videos, certain words you can't mention in your YouTube title. Otherwise, your video will be demonetized, and YouTube claims that they don't do, shadow bans. Even though if you look across my channel, I have reason to believe that they've been practicing shadow bans and, refusing to promote certain videos. I believe they've been practicing that since they created their platform, if you're asking me. But it's like, so you're not allowed to say certain words that I'm not going to say here. But then you can say other words that are bad. So you can't talk about things that are considered what you believe. But these hip hop and these rap artists and these pop artists can get on these videos and monetize their videos of them being half naked, promoting drug culture, promoting drug use, promoting prostitution, promoting anti-God. You can do all of that. And that's not banned. That's supported. It also reminds me, I think Mark Zuckerberg just a few days ago and literally admitted that President Biden, Kamala Harris, their administration, whoever it is up there at the White House, directed them to prevent people from being able to say the word COVID. Anybody for a certain period of time, for a certain stretch of time, for like I think a 3-year period, if you said COVID-19, if you posted about COVID-19, your videos were taken down, you were striked, you were banned, you weren't, like all sorts of weird stuff was happening if you talked about COVID-19.
To Mark Zuckerberg, just writing in a letter that just was posted late last night into the House Judiciary Committee, that the Biden administration pressured Meta to censor COVID-19 related content on Facebook.
I remember I received my first strike on my channel, the only strike I've ever gotten on my channel, which isn't very fun, by the way, when I talked about the January 6th incident. And I was questioning a lot of the stuff. I didn't even say if it was real, if it was a hoax, I didn't say any of that. And I got my strike simply because I talked about the situation. I definitely appealed it, knew I was going to win it because I didn't say that it wasn't real. I didn't say that it was a hoax. I didn't take any of those positions. Didn't matter. They still gave me a strike. I appealed it and I lost the appeal. So you mean to tell me you taking people's videos down? Like, what are your guidelines then, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can bash black folks. In fact, you can have other black folks come online all day long and talk about unaliving each other and selling drugs to each other and all of that. You could talk about slavery. You could talk about your opinions on slavery. All of it. That's fine. But the moment you start indulging in conversations that are about Jewish people, like I see all sorts of videos across YouTube that are monetized that I literally can't believe are being monetized. This just goes to show, like, when something is human made, bro, there will always be flaws. Like, one could argue that a lot of the stuff that Candace Owens talks about is conspiracy theory based. But what's the definition of a conspiracy theory, bro? That term was created by the CIA. That term, I truly believe, was created to prevent people from being able to talk about certain things. So the masses, a lot of people like to follow other people so that they don't stand out and they're not ridiculed, like to just follow along and point at that person and call them a conspiracy theorist. I'm not a conspiracy theorist because I'm asking questions. I'm not a conspiracy theorist because I'm willing to indulge in certain conversations to learn and hear about things that the average person don't want to talk about. Like, what's going on here? I just think it's ironic that Candace Owens can spend an entire career bashing black folks, said everything that she wanted to say, nothing. The moment she started talking about Jews, all this hate, all this pushback, all these white people, all these white Jews, everybody bashing everybody against her. Not everybody. A lot of people supported her. A lot of people still support her. And now all of a sudden it's happening again. Not the company she's working for, but now she's on YouTube and they come. I don't know. It's crazy to me, bro. It's just crazy to me. It just makes me wonder. It's like, you got to walk in a straight line. Like, what can we really say? What can we really think? And I know he's going to have somebody hop in the comment section and say, well, create your own platform, right? Do what you have to do. I don't know, man. It's just crazy. Y'all in the comment section, what do y'all think about this? Do y'all believe in censorship? Do you believe that people should be able to talk about what they want, right? Hop in the comment section and give me your thoughts, man. Till next time. Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.